It's a funny thing. Nobody gets off an airplane and wants to see one of our stucco boxes. All the tourists want to see our Victorians. Today, people are trying to restore those facades, but let's take a look at some of the things that they did in the 50s and 60s and then see what the difference is between renovation, restoration, remodeling, and a new art form where you take Victoriana and add it together in a new way. So behind me is a Victorian row. You can see what one of them originally looked like, and then to this side you can see what it looks like after it's been stuccoed. It's a perfect example in the same row. So this property used to be an Edwardian, it's now clad in vinyl. And this Victorian got covered in shingles. So this Victorian had all of the gingerbread pulled off and they put on asbestos shingles. Asbestos shingles are great for insulation, but they poison the environment. So this is Skeeter Jones, a carpenter extraordinaire. I wanted to talk a little bit about the difference between renovation, restoration, and kind of what you did here.
Renovation, restoration, I guess that's a fine line. This one is an example, restoration, in that it was put back the way that it was with some changes. There was a picture of this, and so a lot of it is true to that. You look at the whole facade and it looks similar, but there are those changes that enhance it more so.
Let's get the owner to come out and then just talk to him a little bit about why he chose restoration rather than something else.
So I bought this house about 12 years ago, and after having just moved in, a lady came by whose family had owned the house since 1900 to 1940, and with her she had an old original picture of the house from around 1910. And I saw that and I said, wow, I'd really love to return the facade to the original look. And I knew that Skeeter was the ultimate professional in San Francisco for those sorts of restorations, and so that's why I reached out to him.
This is a representation of a halfway point, part a restoration and part an artistic creation of his own. What did you do to create this?
It had no staircase. It had kind of a flimsy railing here. I changed that from the original, I think, to better suit the house and the neighborhood.
It's really quite a lovely, prestigious location, and now the house represents that. So you did this one too?
Yeah, I did that one. It was exactly like it was. Taken apart, cleaned up and everything, and then remade the parts that were broken.
So it's basically a complete restoration.
Complete restoration.
Okay, great. Let's go see the next one. So this is the far end of the spectrum. This is totally created out of whole cloth. You made up the whole thing.
Made up the whole thing. What was here was insignificant. It was asbestos shingles. They were taken off. The owner took those to the dump in the responsible way, like they should. It was stripped down to nothing. Then it was made up. And the way that it was made up is the portico was added. That's the porch over the entryway. The windows are all new. And then on top is metal crusting. So it has that permanent kind of look. It's good for the whole block because they get this feeling that, oh, we live in a nice neighborhood, you know? Funny politics in San Francisco. This is easy to do. This is hard to do, basically not allowed. They will call it false historicism, being that people will think that's historic. And a lot of people say, so what? It's kind of a compliment. You could put a plaque and say, believe it or not, this was built turn of the century. Just not that century.
Exactly. I love this house. I can't even imagine building this from scratch. This is all you, right?
This is a complete fabrication.
I love the dragons. Oh my God, I love the dragons.
It's sort of this grid work. I looked at pictures of things and I tried to work something like that in. And so I have the dragon brackets up there.
That's really amazing. It's really beautiful. And it's so nice what you've brought to the city.
Thanks for encouraging such a thing in San Francisco.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for another segment of American Dream. And we will see you again next month. I'm Bonnie Spindler.